All right, here's an update right now. We're at a break. Buddha was sentenced, time served, heading to Nevada. He will have 3 years of monitored probation when he is released. That cannot start until he is released. Even if he heads to Nevada now, he cannot start the 3-year probation until he is done with his Nevada charges. Let's see. As of now, he's ready to go. Buddha's ready to head out to Nevada now. They gave him his time served. Right now, the judge is talking with juror number 11. That it's been reported juror 11 is the one that worked for the BLM. Most of you, if you've been in the courtroom, you'd know who he is just because he never takes notes. And from the very beginning, it kind of looked like he was just here to hang out. And that's the one that the jurors, juror number 4 called out and said that juror 11 was being biased. The problem with this is if juror 11's bias has affected the entire jury, they could claim a mistrial. The frustrating part is this juror should have never stayed and been allowed to stay as a juror in this case, being a retired BLM agent. So it's hard to not feel like some of this could have been avoided and was potentially set up or allowed to happen as a backup plan, if you will, that they may have needed if they decided that this jury was going to acquit these people. So 11 is being talked to right now by the judge, and the witnesses that will be present will be Olson, which is David Fry's attorney, and Mumford, which is Emma's attorney, as well as Ethan Knight for the prosecution. They will be present for the questions that they're going to ask, and the basic questions will be, during the initial hearings and interviews, you stated that regardless of your past employment, you could be unbiased, and now we're having reports that you are biased. What has changed? Have you discussed any of this with the other jurors? And if so, who? And then after that, they're going to go through and interview each juror individually and ask them the same questions. Did you hear any bias statements about a previous employment or experiences from juror number 11? If so, what were those statements and when did those statements occur? And then they will use that to determine if the jury has been basically too tampered with by their own jury, or if they can simply remove juror 11, bring another juror in, and continue going. Each juror will need to state that they have not been too altered by the opinions and statements of number 11 inside of the deliberation room. If they have been too altered, then we end up with a mistrial and we start all over. I don't see that being the case, but we don't know what juror 11 has been saying. We do know that it is so far only juror 4 who wrote the concern. We don't know if everybody's on board with the concern or if it was just juror 4. That's all going to be discussed right now between Mumford, Olson, Ethan Knight, and the judge. So that's it. That's where we're at. We're on a break while the judge goes and speaks to juror number 11. Buddha is off on his way to Nevada, soon. And they did say the only thing pending for him is the restitution that he'll have to pay. That will come as this case continues to unfold and they decide who's guilty, who's been acquitted, what the final charges are that they want for restitution. And they made it very clear to him that when he is released, that he will have to have employment, he will have to be he'll have to be an asset to society. He'll have to reveal his bank statements at all times so that they can garnish his wages for any restitution that's needed. Of course, most of his rights will be stripped away by the time he gets out. It's kind of amazing that we've let it get this bad and that we sit in here in these courtrooms and these judges, they give these people the sentencing and then they basically affirm for them, when you get out, you will no longer be an American citizen. So thanks for playing. It's pretty amazing how we've really stripped the rights of the people and allowed things like past criminal offenses to dictate what somebody can or can't own. He won't be able to accrue any debt. He won't be able to get a credit card. They'll monitor his bank accounts. it's kind of it's a trip to watch this happening, and to be in here listening to it, and to see the people just say, "Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor," and believe that there's any form of justice going on, when really all Buddha did when he went to the refuge was stand with other people who were protesting the government. And now here he is handing over all of his rights to the government. It's something else. Yeah. So I'm gonna head back in. Some of the families are still here, which is nice. And Ammon is wearing a suit today. And let's see, I think that's just about it. The courtroom's been full, and everybody's just on pins and needles waiting to find out what the judge is going to do with this juror, if the juror has tainted the rest of the jurors too much, or if they can simply remove him and bring in somebody else. Of course, the prosecution is fighting as much as they can along the way, but the defense, Schindler and Mumford, they're not going to let this go, and they're going to make sure that these jurors are not biased. They're all saying this is a very good sign. We don't know what the final verdicts are, but we know that they've made statements about, if 3 are not guilty, does that mean the rest are? Now, we don't know what that means. Does that mean that they haven't gone over the evidence for the other 4? Or does that mean they have and they've decided the other 4 are guilty? We don't know that yet. Or are the other 4, maybe going to be a hung jury? I think we have some of these jurors that are absolutely on our side and absolutely see the injustice, and I have a really difficult time believing, with the questions these jurors are asking, that they're going to convict them. So that's all. I'm going to head back in. Thanks for watching, and Becca, I will let the ladies know right now to give you a call. Thanks, guys.